Ethan's fingers tightened around the photograph. His mind raced through possibilities, but none of them made sense. If this was real, if he had truly known Eleanor Graves, then why had the organization erased all records of their connection? He scanned the room again, his instincts telling him he wasn't alone. The door had been left ajar. The air still carried a faint trace of movement. He pivoted, drawing his weapon just as a shadow moved in the corner. A figure stepped into the dim light. Hooded, cautious, and unarmed. Ethan, the voice was familiar. Too familiar. You shouldn't be here. Eleanor. His breath caught. Every protocol drilled into him screamed to neutralize the anomaly, to follow orders without question. And yet he didn't move. You know me, he said, his voice low, searching her face for any sign of recognition. She hesitated, then nodded. I do. And once you knew me too. 1,000 questions burned in his mind. But before he could voice them, a red light flashed on his wristband, a silent alert from the organization. He had been traced. Eleanor saw it too. We need to go. Now. Without waiting for his response, she turned and bolted toward the fire escape. Ethan hesitated for only a second before following. The city blurred past them as they ran, his mind trying to reconcile what was happening. Every step he took away from the organization was another step into the unknown. A glitch in the system. He had been trained to eliminate glitches. Now he was one. They moved through the underbelly of the city, weaving through forgotten alleys and abandoned tunnels. Eleanor led with certainty, as if she had done this before. Ethan followed, his mind still reeling. Where are we going? He finally asked. Somewhere safe, she replied. For now. They finally stopped at what looked like an old subway station, long abandoned and buried beneath layers of graffiti. Eleanor pressed a sequence of buttons on a rusted panel, and the wall slid open, revealing a hidden entrance. Inside, she urged. The moment they stepped in, the door sealed behind them, the noise of the city replaced by an eerie silence. The room was filled with old monitors, maps, and scattered papers, evidence of years spent in the shadows. Ethan took a deep breath. Tell me everything. Eleanor studied him for a moment, then nodded. You were one of them, one of the best. They trained you to reshape reality, to erase those who threatened their control. But something happened. You started asking questions. You started remembering. And they couldn't allow that. Ethan's pulse pounded. If that's true, why don't I remember? Eleanor exhaled, reaching for a small device. Because they wiped you, just like they tried to wipe me. But memories aren't so easily erased. She pressed a button, and a holographic projection filled the room. It was surveillance footage. Ethan stared in shock. It was him, talking to Eleanor, conspiring against the organization. His own voice echoed back at him. We have to stop them before they rewrite everything. The weight of the revelation crushed him. He had been on the other side, fighting against the very system he had sworn loyalty to. And now, they were coming for him. A sudden explosion shook the underground hideout. Dust rained from the ceiling. The organization had found them. Eleanor grabbed his arm. No time. We run. Ethan didn't hesitate this time. The past was catching up to him. But he wasn't going down without a fight. The hunt had begun. They rushed through a back exit, emerging into a long-forgotten sewer tunnel. The air was thick with moisture and the scent of decay. Eleanor led the way, her movements quick and precise. There's a safe house nearby, she panted. We can regroup there. Ethan kept pace, his mind a storm of confusion and buried memories trying to resurface. His instincts screamed that something was wrong, that he had been played. Yet, deep down, he knew Eleanor was telling the truth. And that terrified him more than anything. They moved in silence, only the sound of water dripping from rusted pipes accompanying them. Then, a faint humming noise echoed through the tunnel. Ethan stopped dead in his tracks. Drones, he whispered. Eleanor cursed under her breath. They must have deployed them the moment we triggered the explosion. The humming grew louder. They had seconds before the drones found them. Eleanor grabbed a device from her belt, pressed a button, and a pulse of energy rippled through the tunnel. The hum ceased abruptly. EMP pulse, she explained. It won't last long. Move. They reached an old maintenance door. Eleanor entered a code, and it creaked open. They slipped inside, just as distant voices echoed through the tunnel. Pursuers. They had to be fast. The safe house was an abandoned maintenance station, filled with dusty crates and outdated tech. Ethan scanned the room, his nerves taut. "Tell me the rest," he demanded. "What exactly is the organization planning?" Eleanor took a deep breath. "They're rewriting history, Ethan. Not just altering minor events. They're restructuring reality itself. The world as we know it is a carefully constructed illusion, shaped to keep the truth buried." Ethan clenched his fists. "And we were part of it. Yes, but you tried to stop it before. You just don't remember." Eleanor's eyes darkened. "They're not just hunting anomalies anymore, Ethan. They're preparing for something bigger. A total rewrite. And if we don't stop them, everyone will be reset. Permanently." The weight of her words settled in his chest like lead. The organization had always been ruthless, but this was something far worse. Ethan had been an enforcer of their reality. Now, he had to be the one to undo it. And for that, he needed to remember who he really was. He turned to Eleanor, determination hardening his features. "Tell me how we stop them."